Muharram is the first month of the Islamic lunar calendar and holds significant religious and historical importance, particularly among Muslims. Here are detailed points you could cover in your YouTube video. 1. Significance of Muharram. Explain that Muharram is considered a sacred month, highlighting its importance in Islamic tradition. 2. Observances and practices. Ashura. Focus on the 10th day of Muharram, known as Ashura, which holds special significance. It marks the day when many events of historical and religious importance took place. Fasting. Mention the optional fasting observed on the 9th and 10th days of Muharram, particularly emphasized on Ashura. Remembrance. Discuss the various forms of remembrance such as recitation of Quranic verses, supplications, du'as, and attending gatherings, majalis, to commemorate the martyrdom of Imamhussain ibn Ali, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. 3. Historical context. Battle of Karbala. Explain the tragic events that occurred in 680 AD during the Battle of Karbala, where Imam Hussain and his companions were martyred. Lessons learned. Reflect on the lessons of sacrifice, standing up for justice, and resilience in the face of oppression that are derived from the events of Karbala. 4. Cultural practices. Processions. Describe the processions, known as taziyah, held in some cultures to remember the suffering of Imam Hussain and his family. Art and literature. Discuss the expression of grief and devotion through art, poetry, and literature related to Muharram and Ashura. 5. Global observance. Diverse practices. Highlight how different Muslim communities around the world observe Muharram and Ashura with varying traditions and customs. Unity and reflection. Emphasize the unity and reflection that Muharram brings among Muslims globally, despite cultural and geographical differences. 6. Modern relevance. Social justice. Discuss how the principles derived from the events of Muharram, such as social justice and resistance against oppression, resonate in today's world. Interfaith understanding. Explore efforts to promote interfaith understanding and dialogue during Muharram, fostering mutual respect and learning. By covering these detailed aspects, your YouTube video can provide a comprehensive overview of Muharram, appealing to viewers interested in Islamic history, culture, and spirituality. The incident of Karbala, which took place on the 10th of Muharram in the year 680 AD, 61 AH in the Islamic calendar, is a significant event in Islamic history, particularly for Shia Muslims. Here's a detailed account of what transpired on that tragic day. #, #background. Imam Hussain ibn Ali, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad and the son of Imam Ali and Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, refused to pledge allegiance to Yazid ibn Muawiyah, the ruling caliph at the time. Imam Hussain believed that Yazid's rule was unjust and contrary to Islamic principles. #####Journey to Karbala. Imam Hussain, along with his family members and a small group of supporters, including women and children, embarked on a journey from Mecca to Kufa in present-day Iraq. Along the way, they were intercepted by Yazid's forces and redirected towards Karbala, a desert plain by the Euphrates River. Siege at Karbala. Upon reaching Karbala, Imam Hussain and his followers found themselves surrounded by Yazid's army, which numbered in the thousands. The army, under the command of Umar ibn Sa'ad, had orders to force Imam Hussain to pledge allegiance to Yazid or face consequences. ###deprivation of water. The standoff lasted several days, during which Yazid's forces deprived Imam Hussein's camp of access to the Euphrates River, leaving them without water in the scorching desert heat. ###Day of Ashura, 10th of Muharram. ###morning. Imam Hussain and his followers, despite being vastly outnumbered, refused to surrender to Yazid's demands. They steadfastly maintained their stance against injustice and tyranny. Imam Hussain delivered a poignant sermon, reminding Yazid's army of their duty to uphold justice and warning them of the consequences of their actions. ###afternoon. Battle commences. The battle began with single combats and skirmishes. Despite their bravery, Imam Hussein's small band was no match for the heavily armed and superior forces of Yazid. Martyrdom of companions. One by one, Imam Hussein's companions and family members, including his beloved half-brother Abbas and his son Ali Akbar, were martyred in the fierce fighting. ###martyrdom of Imam Hussain. As the battle intensified, Imam Hussain, now bereft of all his companions and family members, fought valiantly against the overwhelming odds. Betrayal. Imam Hussain was betrayed by some who had promised support but later defected to Yazid's side. Final moments. Finally, Imam Hussain was fatally wounded by arrows and struck on the head with a sword while he was praying. Aftermath. Following his martyrdom, Yazid's army desecrated the bodies of Imam Hussain and his followers, looted their belongings, and took their women and children as captives. ###legacy. The tragedy of Karbala has deeply impacted Islamic history, particularly shaping the Shia belief in martyrdom, justice, and resistance against oppression. The events of Karbala are remembered annually during Muharram, especially on Ashura, through mourning ceremonies and processions to honor the sacrifice of Imam Hussain and his companions. This event remains a powerful symbol of standing up against tyranny and injustice, resonating across centuries with those who seek moral courage and principles in the face of adversity. Shami ghariban, also known as the Night of Strangers, is observed by Muslims, particularly Shia Muslims, following the tragic events of Karbala. It is commemorated on the evening of the 10th of Muharram, after the martyrdom of Imamhussain and his companions. Here's why Shami ghariban is celebrated. 1. Reflection and mourning. Shami ghariban is a time for deep reflection and mourning over the tragic events that occurred in Karbala. It allows Muslims to reflect on the sacrifices made by Imam Hussain and his followers in their struggle against injustice and tyranny. 2. Remembrance of the martyrs. It is a solemn occasion to remember and honor the martyrs of Karbala, including Imam Hussain, his family members, and his companions, who bravely stood up for their principles and were brutally killed for their beliefs. 3. Unity and solidarity. Shami ghariban fosters unity and solidarity among Muslims, particularly Shia communities, as they come together to mourn and commemorate the martyrs of Karbala. It strengthens the sense of community and shared values. 4. Narration of events. During Shami ghariban, the events of Karbala are narrated in detail through sermons, speeches, poetry, and recitations of lamentations, marthiyas. This helps to keep alive the memory of the sacrifices made at Karbala and reinforces the lessons of courage, justice, and steadfastness. 5. Cultural and spiritual significance. Shami ghariban holds cultural and spiritual significance for Shia Muslims, serving as a time for spiritual introspection, repentance, and seeking forgiveness. It is a period of mourning and mourning, often observed with acts of charity and prayer. Overall, Shami ghariban is a poignant moment in Islamic history and tradition, where the memory of Karbala's martyrs is honored, and the principles they stood for are reaffirmed and cherished.
If you like my video, then like and subscribe to the channel. Press bell icon for more Islamic video.